members. Tunku had a verbal agreement with Kuan Yew that Singapore politics, Singapore PAP, should not be involved in the politics of the peninsula, Sabah and Sarawak. But Lee Kuan Yew was not going to be satisfied becoming the leader of a tiny state inside a big federation. So he reneged on his promise and he contested. His party contested in the election. Unfortunately for him, he lost. But he created so much trouble for Malaysia that it was decided Singapore should leave Malaysia. That's how Singapore came to be an independent country. I think the Tunku meant well. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the cooperation of Singapore and Lee Kuan Yew, and he underestimated the strength and the aggressiveness of Singapore Chinese. Even the Malaysian Chinese are afraid of Singapore Chinese because those people are very sophisticated business-wise, and it is likely that they will control business in Malaysia. That is why in the 1964 elections, PAP only managed one seat, win one seat, and the MCA won the rest. So the Malaysian Chinese rejected PAP and Singapore. So the Tunku, of course, did not foresee this. But when he realized the impossibility of including Singapore in Malaysia, he took action to expel Singapore. With regard to the Malaysia-Indonesia relation, yes, as neighbors, we always have problems. Neighbors always have problems with each other. We always claim each other's territory. And we feel that one country is trying to outdo the other country. And naturally, there is competition. There is some jealousy. It is unavoidable. But I think the leaders are sensible enough not to make this a very serious matter. At one time, it was already bad when we had the confrontation. No leader in Malaysia or Indonesia wants to see a return of the confrontation. But we will still argue, for example, is rasa sayang tune from Indonesia or in Malaysia? But please, we would like to use your tunes because they are so nice, the dangdut and all that. They are very, very nice. So let's share these things that we have. If you want to share anything that we have, for example, the facilities in education that is to be found in Malaysia, you're welcome. We have our students in Indonesia. Indonesians have students here in Malaysia. We should work together. But we can continue with the minor differences. It doesn't really matter. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Tun. Okay, first of all, my name is Hamzah bin Nawawi, 10662, first year, second semester, chemical engineering. Okay, first of all, I just want to thank you for your comment and your advice to UTP and UTP students in your own site, www.checkdat.com, yesterday. And back to our business, my question, there are two questions. The first one, to unite us under one national identity. We should have our own national identity, which is Malaysian, not Malay, not Chinese, etc. But as we can see today, we do have three types of school that are using different languages, which are SRK, SMK, SRJKT, SRJKC, etc. So do you think it is still relevant to have these three types of school? Or it is the best to only one type of school in Malaysia? Okay, for the second question, as we can review to our history, we could see that religion could unite people under one unity. How? For example, in the Islamic Empire, Arab, Jews, etc. could unite under one empire by following the rule that is Islam. As the colonists came, they brought the agenda of nationalism, spirit of nationality, and there, the empire of Turkey Osmania was broken down. My question is, from your point of view, do you think that the Malaysian could be united together like the Islamic Empire before by implementing the real rules of Islam taken from the Quran? Thank you.
Well, I would say that if we have 3 types of school using 3 different languages, it does not contribute towards uniting the people. It tends to differentiate people. And if possible, of course, we should have only one type of school. Unfortunately, rather unfortunately, we are not in a position to enforce the national school policy. We agreed at the time of independence that each race is entitled to have to maintain its own language, and at the same time that the language may be used in schools of the different ethnic group. At one time we had English schools, secondary schools were English schools, and there were Malays, Chinese and Indians who go to these English schools. That is because they regard English as a neutral language, and they were willing to go to the same schools. But one minister of education decided that the English schools should be converted to national schools where the medium of instruction is Malay. The result is most of the Chinese and some of the Indian students left these schools, which have become national schools, in order to attend their own ethnic schools. Of course, we should want to have our national language as the main medium of instruction, but we are unable to do this. I would like to cite another example which is found in India. In India, for example, they wanted to have a national language. They proposed Hindi as the national language. But the others objected to. The people who speak Tamil, the people who speak Telugu and other languages refused to accept Hindi as the national language. The result is that they retain English as their medium of instruction. So most of the schools in India, I believe, use English as a medium of instruction, and because they use English, the people do not care whether, accepted this English as a kind of neutral language for teaching. But of course that is not possible in Malaysia, because the Chinese and the Indians and the Malays want to have their own language.